Hi, it's Tuesday, June 28th, 2016. Monaco 64 here, home of alternative economics, contrarian views. I like to talk a little bit about the press, especially here in the UK, after the Brexit vote and the fact that the UK left to leave. There's been so much scaremongering, and I've noticed, especially with the financial press, like on BBC, on Sky News, on LBC Radio, all the commentators, they're like talking as if the sky fell out and that it's the end of the world. They're using terms like, "Oh, we've never seen the pound drop so much in the history of the financial markets. The FTSE collapse. It's a meltdown." And I'm like, what are they talking about? Have they forgotten the 2007 to 2008 crisis, which bottomed in 2009? So I like to clarify things, and I'm not saying that the Brexit will not lead to more financial mayhem, because it might, but I just want to look at the facts right now, and I'm going to start with the British pound. And as you can see, prior to the 07-08 great financial crisis, the pound topped against the dollar at 2.1161 sometime in November 2007. So £1 bought $2.11. And then throughout the financial crisis of '08, the pound collapsed basically to a low of 134.98, and that was in January of 2009. So it took around just over a year, and that drop was a 36% drop in the British pound. And I've looked at Brexit, and if you want to go back to the bottom in '09, you can see that the pound against the dollar has been ranging around 150 to 170, and just before Brexit referendum was announced last year, we were just above 150, and that seems to be the support. So I've taken from 150 to the low we saw yesterday, June 27th, 2016, of 131.21. The pound has dropped 12.5%. So we've dropped 12.5% from the lowest levels we've seen, in the last 4 or 5 years. And don't forget, we dropped 36% during the Great Financial Crisis. So a much smaller drop there. And the other analysis I did, if you take the range since 2009, one could argue that the pound averaged around 160 for those, up until recently against the dollar. And if you go 160 to 131, you've got a drop of 18%. So half as much a drop than we had in 2007, 2008. So have these financial experts forgotten the crisis of 2008? And they're blaming the Brexit voters for the biggest financial calamity the UK has ever seen. It's complete rubbish, because the pound hasn't done as bad as it did in '08. And the other financial instrument or that I want to look at is the FT 100, or the FTSE 100, which is the equivalent of, I guess, the S&P 500 in the US. It measures the 100 biggest public traded companies in the United Kingdom. So before the Great Financial Crisis, the FTSE topped around 6750 sometime in 2007. Don't have the exact date, but that's not important. And then we bottomed in March 2009 at the trough of the financial crisis. The FTSE dropped to 3460. So that was a drop of 48.7%, almost 50% haircut on the FTSE 100 in the 2007-2008 great financial crisis, when the too big to fail banks, collapsed, had too much leverage and had to be bailed out. There was no Brexit then, don't forget. And then looking now, Brexit, I will even, give the scaremongers the benefit of the doubt, and I'll go to the high of 2015, which is way before people knew there was going to be a referendum, and the FTSE got up to 71.27 last year. And the post-Brexit low has been 57.27, which is actually higher than the low we saw in the beginning of the year, when all the stock markets were collapsing anyway. And that correction we've seen since the high last year to yesterday's low in the FTSE or maybe Friday's low, I'm not too sure, it's 19.6%. So the FTSE is corrected just under 20% from last year to the Brexit low. So is that like the worst stock market crash ever and collapse? No, it's nothing. It's a picnic kind of compared to the great financial crisis, where the FTSE dropped 50% basically, and they're coming out and saying, oh, the Brexit is a disaster. Look at what's happened. The pound is collapsing. We've never seen this before. Look at what you've done. But have they forgotten 2008, what the banks did? The mess they put the country in. And it's not only the banks, I have to admit, the people who borrowed irresponsibly as well are to blame. So, but Brexit, you look on the chart here, the FTSE, it doesn't even look like it did anything, But as I said, I'm not saying that things are going to get better and the stock market is going to rebound, the pound's going to rebound. It could be just the beginning of a bigger move down. I don't know. I think it could be a little bit. But all I'm trying to say is that we haven't seen a really horrible meltdown yet. All this talk that the pound is collapsing and, and that the FTSE is in meltdown mode. It's just a load of rubbish, in my opinion. Yes, the pound might have reached a 30-year low against the dollar, the last few days. But in 2009, it got to pretty much around the same level. 134.98 is not too far from 131. And it came up from a much higher level of 211 against the dollar. So, yeah, just be careful when you're listening to the BBC, Sky News, LBC. Don't buy into the language that they come out with, these financial experts, about what the market's doing. This morning, there's a guy from Barclays Bank called Hank Potts on LBC, and he said, oh, the FTSE has been called 50 points higher, and we need probably another 100 days of such moves to get back to where we were before Brexit. What a load of rubbish. The FTSE was pretty much where we're now, around 6,100 before Brexit. How can he truthfully say that? It's just, I don't know what their agenda is, but it's just not the truth. Look at the facts, and before making, foregone conclusions. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about, how the media is really trying to scaremonger people and, create an environment that at the moment is not really there. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this, please like, share, and subscribe. Take care. Bye.